Firstly, why are you here?
I'm here to mainly promote We Are Change WA. That's the flyer that's there.
Oh yeah.
So we got a couple of our members over here, and yeah, it's just good to actually meet the faces who talk on the internet. That you talk to on the internet a lot, and yeah, we think we should hopefully be able to mobilise some more efficient action from that.
So you're after a new investigation? Is that what you're mainly calling for, do you think?
I mean, I see the new investigation like it's a the means is the ends kind of thing. Like if we keep pushing for a new investigation and that we don't get it, then it's going to make it more obvious. But you're going to wake up people anyway. It's a bit like the audit the Fed bill over in America. That probably won't pass. People are learning from the Federal Reserve from that. In the end, I think this issue is a key to the broader corruption, otherwise referred to as the New World Order, of course. But, yeah.
And who's part of this world order? How far does it go? Yeah, who's part of the world order? How far does it go?
They want to take out Syria. They want to take out Venezuela.
Who's they?
Who's they?
That's what we're trying to find out.
Is it the Freemasons? Does it go as far as that? Is it the Jews? Is it... I don't know. This is what we're trying to find out.
The British Empire was a means to a way of expanding Freemasonry all over the world. I mean, I come from the island of Cyprus, which is a teeny island in Europe.
Do you believe the Freemasons...
Even there is, Freemasonry is everywhere. In the political system. A lot of people would know that, but most people just don't talk about it. Oh yeah, the Masons.
Could they be blamed for 9/11? Could you go as far as that?
Was a cornerstone laid at the World Trade Center?
Yeah. Well, okay, what about... Let's leave the buildings for the moment. What about the Pentagon? Do you believe that a plane went into the Pentagon?
I don't believe a passenger jet crashed into the Pentagon.
What happened to the passengers that were meant to take that jet?
Exactly.
What happened to them?
Exactly. No. There were no remains of any luggage or people found at the Pentagon.
There was lots of DNA. All of the victims were identified by DNA at the Pentagon.
Something happened
so I don't
to
know
them.
where you're getting this information.
Where would the government have hid them? Maybe, put them in a mass grave and got rid of them?
In terms of finding things, if they can, see this is the flip side, if you're telling me they did find all that DNA in that, how come they couldn't find the titanium engines?
Well, they got smashed to pieces. They did find fragments of them, and they found the flight recorders.
4.5-ton engines pulverised.
Yeah,
absolutely.
By 500 miles an hour in a concrete wall. What do you expect?
I mean, the biggest thing with the Pentagon is the official story has that jet flying for about 12 kilometres at only 1 kilometre high, going up, down, over a hill.
Yeah, that's right.
And all that kind of
Not
thing.
much. No, it was just a constant descent straight into the ground. It did a circle around Washington.
A lot of expert pilots said that. A lot of expert pilots said that trajectory in the plane too.
No, that's one or two pilots say that. Most
They also couldn't
commercial
if they
pilots.
actually cared about the safety of the plane, they wouldn't have done that.
Most commercial pilots say there's nothing complicated or difficult about that kind of flying at all. In fact, it doesn't look very skillful when you look at the animation of the flight data recorder. It doesn't look very skillful at all.
Let's go to Shanksville. Do you guys think...
Shanksville, yeah, Flight 93.
Do you think a plane crashed at Shanksville?
Well, yes, I do.
Do you, what about Rumsfeld saying that plane was shot down? How come that's not part of
he
the story?
He misspoke, I'm assuming.
Misspoke twice.
Well, I mean, there was no planes in place to take it down. It takes a while to scramble fighter jets, and they didn't really even know that these planes were hijacked until a couple of minutes
Maybe there
before
wasn't
they
a plane
crashed.
at all.
Well, what happened to the passengers that were in there?
Again, no passengers were found at Pennsylvania. No
There
luggage
was lots of body parts.
Is that the plane that the people
The
took over?
coroner said when he got to the...
Flight 93.
Right.
So he stopped
Flight
being a
93,
coroner.
that's right.
Hollywood came out
Just
with the movie as well
because
to
he was picking up
reinforce,
tiny bone fragments,
their
tiny bits of teeth
official
all over the
story.
place.
We got the quote. He said he stopped being a coroner after 15 minutes.
That's right, because there was only tiny bits of bodies to do. He couldn't do anything like a coroner would normally do to establish cause of death.
Yeah, look at the history of
plane crash in
look at the
California
history of fair crash
Actually, we were all talking
investigation.
another case where someone actually overtook the cockpit and crashed the plane, and that plane crash looked eerily similar to Flight 93, and this was back in the 90s.
It's a high-speed nose-into-the-ground crash. That's what they look like.
So we still come back to Rumsfeld's comments and also the Navy officers saying that if we didn't shoot down Flight 93, it would have gone into the dome. What do you guys have to say about that? Are you just going to say that's a
justifying the scramble order though?
Well, why would they deny
No, the point is that the official story
if they had shot it down, why would they deny it?
it's just like well, exactly, sir. They're trying to cover something up, and this is why they don't mention Building 7 in the whole official commission report. Building
They don't mention any of the other. They don't mention 6, 5, 4 either. They got an entirely separate entity to do Building 7.
It never says that in the 9/11 Commission.
Look, we like to.
What it does say is it's the fullest possible account of the events of that day.
Well,
don't you think
of the terrorist attacks? Yes, because Building 7 wasn't a target of the terrorists. It wasn't attacked by terrorists. Why would they put that in a report about terrorist attacks?
Because people died in that building, although
Building 7?
although they say they didn't, but they did.
How do you know?
Because witnesses have said that they were stepping over dead bodies, sir. Barry Jennings.
Well, they were using the foyer of Building 7 as a makeshift morgue while they were picking up bodies that had jumped from the towers. Because that's what the fire department and the rescue officers have said.
We just heard police officers in New York saying that building's about to come down. It's about to blow up.
That was later in the afternoon.
Why isn't that a part of the 9/11 Commission?
What about BBC saying?
No. Why isn't that a part of the 9/11 Commission report?
Because, as we've already said, they had a very different agency to cover Building 7. They don't want a political organisation is not responsible for scientific. They get a scientific organisation to look for stuff like building collapses.
Well, why would they have a go at the Twin Towers then? They don't say much about it.
Yeah.
But they do.
Can I take you away from 9/11 for a minute and ask, and we like to finish these interviews with one question. Do you guys believe that the Americans went to the moon?
I believe they have.
You do?
Yes.
I believe that.
And I also believe that that's just a fuddy-duddy question that you're trying to put in there to make us look bad. It's got nothing to do with this.
No, it hasn't, but it's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, really. There's a nanothermite expert here. He was enjoying lunch over there, yes.
Is he an analytical chemist?
He's a nanothermite expert, right? And he's done
What's his
tests.
name?
Stephen Jones.
So he's a physicist.
Yes, that's right.
So he's not an expert on analytical chemistry at all. Why is he writing papers on analytical chemistry if he's a physicist?
He's got a doctorate in physics. He worked in the Department of Energy of the US government.
Yeah, as a physicist, as a nuclear physicist, not as a chemist, not as an analytical chemist. He's working outside his field of expertise. You know what that means? He knows about as much about chemistry as I do.
So if you look at the same dust as he did and found those red great ships, you would...
I assume that they were paint, yes, like most other chemists have.
Even when you put a flame to it and it explodes?
It didn't explode, it combusted in oxygen. Yeah, big whoop. He didn't burn it in an inert atmosphere to find out if it was a thermitic compound, which he would do. And there are standard tests to do to test for thermite, and he didn't use any of them. So you haven't heard this, have you? Why is his paper published in a journal which publishes on a pay by publish kind of system? You pay them money and they will publish any old crap paper.
I don't believe Building 7. Look, this building was so close to the Twin Towers, with the fire, with the debris. You don't actually believe that this building would have been brought down by structural,
damage just from the towers falling on it?
Well, okay.
But it took longer than that. It took much longer.
For a long time.
It's alright, because the flyer explains your question. You can see there 4, 5 and 6 are closer. Did they suffer
There's the South Tower, there's the North Tower. The damage that these two buildings would have done to these buildings, the only thing that could have happened to these buildings would have been to collapse. With the debris and the damage.
Yeah, they did.
Did they collapse?
That one collapsed, didn't it?
6, 5 and 4. Did they collapse?
I don't know, you tell me.
They didn't.
You tell me, you come here,
Let's just stop and see what's happening
and check pictures. You've just taken points, from the whole story, trying to...
I mean,
What was the question?
let's take, for example, what shape were the rest of the buildings? They were a lot lower.